You've done the grind, paid the mortgage, survived city chaos, and now you're finally staring down the finish line. But when it comes to retirement, do you really want your golden years buried under traffic horns, overpriced lattes, and never-ending construction noise? What if the best retirement life isn't in a skyscraper condo or an overpriced coastal resort, but tucked inside a humble Aussie town where your money stretches, your days slow down, and your neighbors actually say hello? Stick around till the end, because we got a bonus state that barely anyone's talking about, but it's quickly becoming the retirement jackpot of Australia. Number 15, Denmark, Western Australia. This is where the forest hugs the sea and silence feels like a luxury retreat. Denmark isn't just beautiful, it's magnetic. When you walk its coastal cliffs or meander through the wine country, you don't just feel relaxed. You feel returned to something primal, real, unbothered. With a population under 3,000, you're not disappearing into isolation, but escaping just enough to matter. And yet, you're not missing modern essentials. Quality healthcare, local markets, artisan food, and decent internet? Check, check, and check. The beaches aren't just soft, they're whisper quiet. You'll forget the noise of cities even existed. And if you're into kayaking at dawn or writing poetry in a vineyard, this place delivers. And the cost? Still lower than Perth suburbs, without the madness of Perth suburbs. Retire here and you get land, calm, and connection. Not a shoebox. Your backyard? Probably eucalyptus forest. Your mornings? Birdsong, not garbage trucks. This isn't retirement. It's a personal upgrade. Before we go on, if this town already feels like home, take a second and comment which one you're considering retiring to. Let's compare dreams. Number 14, Yamba, New South Wales. It's what Byron Bay was 30 years ago, before the celebrities and boutique pretension. Yamba is coastal joy in its purest form. Locals surf, fish, and still have time to chat with strangers at the bakery. You can watch the sunrise over Main Beach, eat fresh prawns from the local trawlers, and actually afford property within walking distance to the water. Imagine that. There's something magical about how this town balances beauty and budget. It doesn't scream luxury, it whispers contentment. Yamba's slower pace isn't sleepy, it's deliberate. Everything here moves at the speed of peace. And if you ever get restless, Ballina and Lismore are short drives away. You won't be alone here either. The retirement community is growing, but it's not overrun, just well-balanced. And here's a secret. Once you spend one winter in Yamba, you'll never want another cold snap again. Number 13, Strahan, Tasmania. Strahan is not just a town, it's an atmosphere. It's the kind of place where you sip tea on a stormy afternoon and wonder why you ever lived in a concrete jungle. Tucked along Tasmania's wild west coast, Strahan has weather, yes, but it also has soul. It makes you slow down not because you're old, but because it demands your presence. This is the kind of retreat where you retire with a camera and an appreciation for nature's moods. Not much noise, not many people, and that's the charm. Strahan's history lives in its timber heritage and old-world architecture, but it's the stillness that keeps people here. That, and the Gordon River cruises that look like scenes from a fantasy film. Real estate? Almost shockingly affordable. You might end up with a waterfront view for the cost of a Sydney studio. And just to be clear, there's solitude, but never loneliness. Number 12, Victor Harbor, South Australia. This town gets extra points just for the name. Victor Harbor sounds like a calm, authoritative uncle who always has a fishing story. And that's exactly what this place is like. It's just far enough from Adelaide to feel like a retreat, but close enough to not be cut off. You get hospitals, supermarkets, and penguins. Yes, penguins. Granite Island gives the town its unique edge, literally and metaphorically. You can stroll the causeway or take the historic tram and feel time rewind. It's friendly, familiar, and functional. Retirees here often say they came for the views, but stayed for the community. And isn't that what we all want? The housing market hasn't exploded yet. And while everyone talks about moving to the coast, Victor Harbor makes that idea actually realistic. So if your dream retirement includes seafood lunches, beach walks, and mild summers, this one belongs on your list. By the way, if you're loving this breakdown so far, Hit that like button to help more future retirees find their peace. Number 11. Port Fairy, Victoria. It almost feels wrong to call Port Fairy a town. It's a storybook come to life, complete with charming cottages and perfectly curated gardens. You walk down the street and feel like a movie extra in a cozy drama. Except you're the lead. This is your retirement, and this is your backdrop. Set along the Great Ocean Road, Port Fairy has culture and creativity stitched into its cobblestones. Art galleries, jazz festivals, and food fairs keep the town quietly buzzing year-round. But here's the magic. It never feels crowded. It never feels like it's trying to be cool. It just is. Locals are known to drop off baked goods, just because, and the sense of belonging wraps around you like a cardigan on a chilly morning. You won't just be retired here. You'll be re-inspired. Number 10. Malini, Queensland. Malini is that serene masterpiece tucked into the Sunshine Coast hinterland, where every sunrise looks like it was painted just for you. While tourists flock to the beaches below, Malini quietly watches from above, green, calm, and untouched. It's not loud, it doesn't need to be. The beauty here whispers. The town spills across rolling hills and valleys, wrapped in lush rainforest and scattered with dairy farms and boutique gardens. You'll find walking tracks that lead to waterfalls and cafes that smell like roasted beans and rain. Even a main street feels like a pause button was pressed on life's chaos. Despite its reputation for tranquility, Malini pulses with culture. There are bookshops with reading nooks that look like hobbit homes and organic markets where the honey is harvested by your neighbor. Creativity hangs in the air, almost as thick as the fresh mountain mist. Healthcare is reliable, the local infrastructure solid, and Brisbane is under 2 hours away if you ever crave the big city buzz. But most don't, because everything you need, connection, peace, purpose, already exists here in the hills. You meet retirees who came just to look and ended up staying decades. Artists, therapists, and techies alike seem to find themselves reinvented here. Not just retired, but reawakened. Property prices are rising, yes, but you're buying into a lifestyle that goes beyond bricks and mortar. You're investing in your mornings, your walks, your well-being. And really, how do you price that? Before we go on, if Malini feels like your mountain escape, go ahead and drop a comment. What would you grow or create here in your golden years? Number 9. Esperance, Western Australia. Esperance doesn't try to impress. It simply exists as a postcard, flawless and quiet. Every day here feels like a slow exhale after a lifetime of tension. The beaches aren't just white, they're pure quartz. They squeak under your feet like fresh snow. The coastline stretches like a dream. Cape Le Grand National Park is a wonderland of wild granite outcrops, turquoise waters, and kangaroos napping on the shore. Lucky Bay lives up to its name in every sense. It's the kind of place that makes your heart whisper, stay. Despite its seclusion, Esperance isn't barren. There's a small but tight-knit community, surprisingly decent coffee, and all the essentials like grocery stores, pharmacies, and medical clinics. No mega malls, but plenty of markets and faces you'll quickly recognize. You retire here not to withdraw, but to reconnect with nature, with silence, with yourself. Fishing is therapy. Beach walks are sacred. And the sunsets? They look hand-painted in strokes of lavender and orange. Property prices remain incredibly reasonable, especially considering the scenery you're buying into. It's one of the few places where million-dollar views don't require $1 million. The sense of community is genuine. People look out for each other here, not in a nosy way, but in a we're all in this together kind of way. Backyard barbecues replace happy hours. Stars replace streetlights. If you're thinking about retiring where life feels like a daily meditation, Esperance should top your list. And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more gems like this one. Number 8. Bellingen, New South Wales. Bellingen is wild in the best way, where nature meets creativity in a joyful, slow-moving collision. It's where barefoot meets brainy. This town doesn't just welcome you. It wraps you in incense, music, and fresh bread and says stay a while. Set between the lush Dorigo rainforest and the shimmering river flats, Bellingen looks like it was handpicked by a filmmaker looking for the perfect blend of Eden and edge. Markets spill on its sidewalks, locals drum in the park, and conversations turn from astrology to sourdough in a single breath. It's a magnet for the artistic and the awakened. Writers, musicians, healers, digital nomads all call this place home. There's a youthful undercurrent despite the many retirees here, which keeps the energy vibrant and endlessly interesting. You won't feel like you're settling down here. You'll feel like you're opening up. Whether you're joining a meditation circle or taking up pottery, there's always something to learn, try, or share. Retirement in Bellingen is active, but not stressful. Social, but not loud. And despite all this soul and scenery, the cost of living remains friendly. Housing is still affordable compared to Byron Bay, and without the A-list price tag or pretense. You can build a life here without gutting your superannuation. The best part? It's still off most people's radar. Bellingen quietly flies under the spotlight, which means your peaceful paradise stays peaceful a little longer. If your soul's been quietly nudging you towards something freer, Bellingen might just be it. And if it is, tell us below what you'd be doing with your time here. Number 7. Stanley, Tasmania. Stanley is the kind of place you stumble upon in a travel book, assume it's too good to be true, and then arrive to find it's even better. Centered around the Nut, a flat-top volcanic plug that dominates the skyline. It's more than a landmark. It's a symbol of stillness. Life in Stanley has a deliberate pace. No rush, no noise, just rhythm. The sea speaks louder than traffic, and seagulls outnumber cars. Even a trip to the grocery store feels like a chance to chat, not a chore to dread. The seafood is local and legendary. The scallops? Sweet. The oysters? Briny perfection. You can walk along the harbor and spot fishermen returning with the day's catch. Then eat it for dinner just hours later. History lives on in its 1800s cottages and cobbled streets. But it's not just a museum town. Stanley has community theater, art trails, and enough spirit to feel alive, even if the streets are quiet. Retirement here means rediscovering hobbies. Bird watching becomes addictive. Photography becomes second nature. And writing? Stanley gives you the peace to start that novel, or just journal with a view. Living costs are surprisingly low, and the housing stock, while quaint, offers everything you need. And the locals? Let's just say if you're new, you won't be for long. Stanley is for those who want fewer distractions and deeper days. If that's you, you already know. Number 6. Bright, Victoria. Bright is exactly that, bright in color, character, and clarity. Located in Victoria's high country, this town is a celebration of the seasons, especially autumn, where golden leaves blaze across the hills like fire without smoke. But Bright isn't just a postcard, it's a living experience. Mountain bike trails twist through forests. River walks hug the town edges. Local wine, local honey, local everything. It's all here, and all tastes better in the fresh alpine air. What's remarkable is how balanced it feels. It's lively, with a calendar full of festivals, food fairs, and markets, but never overwhelming. You can be as involved or as invisible as you like. The retirement crowd here is active. You meet people who hike weekly, volunteer at the theater, and run book clubs with real wine and real opinions. Bright doesn't feel like slowing down. It feels like leveling up at your own pace. The homes range from cute cottages to modern builds with full mountain views. Prices have ticked upward, but so has the quality of life. This isn't cheap living, it's smart living. With good health care, proximity to Melbourne, and a deep sense of place, Bright is a town that knows what it is, and that's rare. And if Bright has caught your eye, don't wait. Leave a like now so we know we're speaking your language. Number 5. Kingscote, South Australia. Tucked on the edge of Kangaroo Island, Kingscote is where land, sea, and slow living meet in harmony. It's not just scenic, it's soulful. The ferry ride over alone feels like stepping into another rhythm entirely. In Kingscote, nature and neighborliness collide. Sea lions nap on the shore, while pelicans glide above fishing boats. It's one of the few places where your backyard might include a vineyard, a kangaroo, and a neighbor with fresh-caught snapper. Services are modest but efficient. They're the hospital, pharmacy, supermarkets, and more than enough cafes to make morning chats a ritual. Plus, the island's strong environmental values mean you're not just retiring. You're helping protect paradise. This is a town where life is rich in things money can't buy. Space, time, stillness. You won't just hear the ocean, you'll feel it in your bones. And every breath you take feels cleaner, calmer, earned. Real estate is limited and highly coveted, which means early movers are rewarded. You're not buying land, you're buying legacy. Retirement here doesn't just look good on paper, it feels divine on your skin. And if you're still with us, thank you. This is where retirement becomes not just a phase, but a transformation. Number 4, Armidale, New South Wales. Armidale offers a high-altitude retirement, both in geography and lifestyle. Sitting over 1,000 meters above sea level, the climate gives you crisp air, real winters, and that rare Australian gem, seasons that actually feel like seasons. There's an academic charm here too. Thanks to the University of New England, Armidale has all the best bits of university town. Libraries, lectures, galleries, and a certain curiosity that lingers in the air. And perhaps most importantly, it's still affordable. Homes with views don't cost your whole retirement fund, and lifestyle blocks are within reach. If you're a retiree who craves depth, change of pace, and maybe even a second act as a painter or historian, Armidale opens that door. Number 3, Margaret River, Western Australia. Margaret River is a town where the wine flows as easily as the creativity. It may be Western Australia's most iconic escape, and for retirees, it's more than a tourist stop. It's a place where days stretch and stress melts. This isn't just about wine tastings, it's about living well without trying too hard. You'll wake to the scent of eucalyptus and ocean breeze, and mornings here often begin at your local cafe, where the barista remembers your name and how you like your flat white. You might stroll through the forest, catch sight of a kangaroo, or simply sit outside and read while the wind rustles the gum trees. But make no mistake, this place has depth. There's a cultural heartbeat in Margaret River that keeps retirees inspired. Art galleries, writers' festivals, music in the vineyards. Your creativity doesn't retire, it gets reborn. It's the kind of town where people start passion projects in their 60s and open market stalls in their 70s. Healthcare services are excellent for a regional town. There's a district hospital, well-rated GP clinics, and nearby Bunbury offers more advanced care. For most retirees, it's the right mix of security and serenity. So if retirement for you means calm mornings, active afternoons, and twilight glasses of red while overlooking rows of vines, then Margaret River is your chapter 2. Let us know in the comments, would you pick the vines or the waves? Number 2, Noosa Hinterland, Queensland. The Noosa Hinterland is where Queensland's glossy coastline gives way to quiet, tree-lined dreams. While the beachfront steals all the headlines, the real soul of the region whispers through towns like Coolroy, Pomona, and Yamundi. These aren't just towns, they're sanctuaries. Living here means your backyard is the forest. Your mornings start with bird calls, and your afternoons end with golden skies above avocado trees. There's a peaceful pulse here. Noosa's iconic beaches are just 20 minutes away, but your home feels like it belongs to a slower time, one with fewer alarms and more exhale. The towns themselves each have their own unique charm. Pomona is artistic and old world. Coolroy offers boutique shops and a genuine sense of community. Yamundi's famous markets bring the world to your doorstep, and then let you slip quietly back into stillness by sunset. You can pick your flavor, or better yet, experience all three as a local. This is where you don't just retire, you evolve. You find stillness, yes, but also purpose. Maybe you start beekeeping. Maybe you join a ukulele group. Or maybe for the first time in years, you just sit still and feel content. Before we hit number 1, here's that bonus we promised. Catherine in the Northern Territory. Bonus state, Catherine, Northern Territory. Catherine isn't on most retirement lists, and that's exactly why it should be. Tucked between Darwin and the Outback, Catherine is raw, rugged, and radiates an untamed beauty that most Australians never get to fully experience. If you're looking for a retirement that's more adventure than armchair, Catherine might just be your frontier. The town sits on the doorstep of Nitmaluk National Park, home to the iconic Catherine Gorge. It's a landscape of ancient rock walls, rushing rivers, and swimming holes so pristine they look like postcards. And yes, you can canoe through them every day if you want. Retirement here doesn't feel like winding down. It feels like you've finally arrived. Catherine isn't for everyone, but if you've got a sense of adventure, a love for wide open spaces, and a craving for simplicity without sameness, this might be the most rewarding decision of your life. Leave a comment below if Catherine just earned a spot on your map, and hit subscribe so we can show you even more places you didn't know you needed to see. Finally, on number 1, Merimbula, New South Wales. This is it, the Goldilocks zone. Merimbula sits at the edge of everything, but feels like it's in the center of peace. Coastal serenity, a tight community, killer seafood, and just enough urban polish to make life easy. You've got beaches, lakes, boardwalks, and bakeries that remember your name. You've got neighbors who become friends. And you've got views that cure burnout. Not too touristy, not too sleepy. Merimbula is the town that retirees move to and then tell no one about because they want to keep it secret. Retirement isn't about stepping back. It's about stepping into something new. These towns offer not just affordability, but authenticity, peace, personality, and maybe, finally, a life that's fully yours. So, which one are you moving to? Comment below, like the video if one of these towns surprised you, and subscribe for more real talk on living smart after 60.